Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're in the world. To we listeners them and we audience. This is Mohammed Shilon coming to you from the United States. Today presentation with my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot from Surrey, England. And of course, this program is being presented to you from Canada. And we're at the location of a producer. So today we get what we call the year in review, just for touch base or basis on some of the several issues that we would have discussed. We cannot possibly touch on every one of them, so we just painstakingly go through. Me able co-host Mr. Victor Mengot and painstakingly go through the record and pick out some of what we think and when your judgments might be of interest to people. So we hope we're not going to enjoy them. So since the year in review involves a scoring, what we get for do in terms of how we score government on the performance on different issues concerning governance. We will also ask the audience, the public, for join we in making the assessment or scoring also. So we ask that the audience look at the objective and the purpose for any kind of action taken by government, and then the effectiveness of the implementation of the action taken by government, and if anybody see any noticeable change for the better, not for the worse, because of the changes that came about. So we hope when I go up for score, and then when the program begins, we want for making also realize for say the lines are open. You are welcome as you follow the presentation for interject or interpose, or whichever you consider it to be. Call in, send you your comments. I will read to the number again for those reminder now. And then sending you comments. It can be written comment or you can call live. And again, just for remind people them, before you call, I would suggest that you take into account the fact that we only give or allot 3 minutes to your questions or your comments if you call. And we also want to remind listeners and for say this is a live presentation and it's worldwide. So this presentation would do so then anywhere, any part you're in the world, you can able call in and you can able listen and you can able participate. So this is live, not a recorded presentation this. So remember, but so if you do call, get questions and you comments them put together in a comprehensive way, so you're not going to spend all the time just asking a question. By the time you finish, you don't run out of time. So we strongly encourage you now to do that. When you call, left some time for listen to which we get for say how they answer the question, or how other callers then will call and say something in reference to you and questions or comments. Now, again, let me remind people and say this is not VOS television. So we'll get several platforms then. The way I want to let people remember that you can track we and fan we. So them platforms in there, I want to let people realize, so say, you can go on YouTube, you go on VOS television, you can able fan we. You can go on Facebook, on VOS television, just type in VOS television, you go able to track we. Or you can go on X, we then use for call Twitter. That also on a VOS television. So YouTube, Facebook, and X, you can able to track we just by typing in VOS television. So also we get other sources them where you can able reach we. You can go on VOS radio website for be able to get we. And if you want to go to the VOS radio website, what do you need for do? You need for download. You will have to go to the Apple App Store, the Apple App Store to download the app, or the Google Play Store for download the VOS app. That way you can able reach we on the radio, where if you not do that, you're not able to get we. So you have to go, if you want to get you on the radio, in case you drive, you're doing at the Freetown area, you want to keep up with we discussions and presentation. So now that you need to do, go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, Apple App Store for the mobile app, the VOS 91.9 FM radio station. If you not download the app, you know we'll get to in a 91.9, because if you lucky forget a 91.9, it could be another place, another location, maybe somewhere in the United States or Canada. So I strongly encourage you. Now, then if you can also get to on what you call Twitch TV, and at the same thing in the Caribbean and VOS television. So several platforms then will be able to reach we in case you want call, in case you want comments, in case you want write, and you're also free for send your comments in to VOS television for if you're not reaching comments you want to send in. Now we also get one more section or platform with the really encouraging for look at. We'll go to call it the VOS Diaspora Helping Hands. Now, non-profit organization. They will call them VOS Diaspora and Scholarship Program. Would they give scholarship? VOS give scholarship to qualify, desired picking them. We want to go school, we get the drive, we get the motivation, we get the ability in any form, mental ability, but they don't get the financial ability for continuing their education. And so we want to enable some of them people, and they give them an opportunity for make them pathway so they can be able to go as far as they want at school. So that is, they call them the VOS Diaspora Helping Hand mission. That is at www.vosdiaspora.org. www.vosdiaspora.org. So please, no amount is too small, no amount is too much. Contribute. So this now some of the contributions then what would they make? And as we always say, we always come out salon, we still get interest in the country, doing well for everybody. We all can't go into politics. There is not enough room for absorb everybody. And even if there is enough room, some of us are not interested in become politically active in that sense for be politician by occupation, by trade, by profession. No, some of us would rather do what you would do so, bring about ideas, make suggestions, critically analyze steps being taken by governments. And so we think we are doing just as good. Last but not least, the telephone number for reach we are the WhatsApp number, which is universal. So that WhatsApp number, no matter what you're doing at the wall, if you listen to this program, just and dial, if you want call, if you want comment, if you get anything for say, +1 343 997 5828. +1 343 997 5828. So you for be able to reach we now then sources there, then avenues there where I just mentioned to now. So today, our general topic is going to be Sierra Leone under review. Then we'll say governance, economy, justice, and the rising cost of living. Because this is what governance is all about, and that's what we should be talking about. So that's what our topic will be. But like we say, today at the year in review, at the last presentation, this is for the year. We're not getting a presentation for the next 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. So we'll go. I greatly appreciate our participation. And so in review, we'll deal with topics like governance issue in general. Mr. Mengot, my co-host, will tell you now which are the general issues. Then we'll talk about the economy and finance. We'll talk about the judiciary and access to justice. We can use the word, this big English word, judiciary, but not the court system, and the court system generally, and that we talk about, and how we they run them, and how they affect people in life, and how we can get better, how it can do more, because like me, as a lawyer, I believe, we not utilize more than 50% of the potential for make the system better. There are many ways we can make the system better. All we get for do now for just get the right people and for give the right suggestions. They want to talk about education. They want to talk about energy. And now everybody will know anything about energy. Energy means electricity, and that we talk about. And the implications, the complications, and the implications. The implication meaning if we get sufficient supply of energy, an efficient supply of energy, it can do wonders for we. But without that, it had for sustain economic progress. It had without reliable energy supply, it had for get people looking into a country for invest heavily for improve the economy. Then last but not least, the cost of living. Cost of living meaning how much is it costing people now for live? In 2025, I think, or the things get cheaper, or things stay the same, or things get even more expensive, and how will the impact or how they affect or how will the affect, not the real word, I don't know the word for that in Creole, people and lives. Because cost of living our everyday survival activity, where you grab the money, now how for spend, lunch for you picking them, lunch for your light, money for your light, money for cook, money for buy clothes, money for transportation, so all that come on the cost of living. So with that said, make a pass over to my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, take over from here, and then we will proceed. Please, the lines are open after Mr. Mengot begins or after I talk. So if you get any idea, when I for help when I free for call we and give one own suggestion how we score the government with the score on the basis of, well, the American way we could say ABCD. Okay, because now you can get F into the thing. But we can do it in the English way, we can just simply do them by percentage. The highest score now 100%. So every issue we'll talk about, can give the government whose can percent you want, from 1% to 100%. How well they do. 100% could mean the highest score. So with that said, let me pass you now over to my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot, who will take over from me, and then we will continue from that. So you, Mr. Mengot.
Thank you very much. Famulem in a kushe, in a cabo, for in a way in a overside and America, in a good afternoon, winner, good evening, and Australia now they would say good morning. Today we want to look at the year in review. And if we want to review what's in the happen in salon, boku thing and they will get for talk about. But we decide for choose issues them where they na people in mind, we go make people in life change. And how we want to do them? Because we not just can't do and so no more based on we own perception. All them here and a thing that we don't cover all throughout the year. So the way they do the review, we go play video for you now. Then ourselves see what's in the happen. And from that video, they don't go analyze and they will discuss them. Then we give some score to the government. And we go justify why we give them score in there. So we carefully choose the topic then, because when we talk about governance, we talk about the whole thing for do with the combination of parliament and the executive, meaning headed by President Bio, the relationship between them two people and the two arms of government, the parliament and the executive. Because what you do, we choose them as primary. Parliament, and then they make law. Parliament, and then they look what in government they do and represent with the people. So all other things, they come with that part thing. Again, we're going to the next part, the economy and finance. Recently, we see the budget where they make, we for sure within a government expenditure, within a government in priority, whether they're in the right thing then. We also want to talk about law and order, the justice system. There's some good things where that happen. There's some challenges. We also get video in that. Education. Education, according to the government, now one of the flagship of this government and policy, we then call it free education, free quality education. And even the budget, there's a link. You go see the link. Because when you look at government spending, the most government they spend, right? Now education, 20% of your budget. You just tell like say, when they pay you, right? If you're not the papa and the host, you get beaucoup thing for do. You get for pay your rent, you get for put food on the table. If you get family, you get for make sure say you provide for picking them and all that thing and So this budget, how they shape them? Health, now 9% of we spending. Education, now 20%. Then I am business when agriculture, now 8%. So these are the different things. So we go to health, we see say boku people and they we learn book. Almost doctor they again at the country. Waiting to happen at the health sector. There's some good thing we will talk about. There's also something that we get some challenges. Energy, electricity. We get them big thing that we government on promise. The MCC, the Millennium Challenge Corporation. That money they don't wait for the past 3-4 years. But there's always string attached. Then we see where government will go and come back and talk about mission 3,300, sorry. When they say they not endorse, we plan for give it 2.2 billion. A reality down there, or not just wait for make we get feel good and for capture the headlines. Then the IAM business, when a cost of living, how much will they buy food? How people and they cope? Remember, say when this government will come, we will get that minister for corporate business. We say in at the bread and butter business, he go deal with and he go solve down there for within 6 months. So now all that thing that we can talk about, and we choose the topic. So for start, let's look at this thing where they talk about governance, because the whole thing within at the year, now this issue of whose kind system we want for decide who that will be the next Alagba. All over the year, we get election business when they talk, we get flag bearer talk, but the key thing is, now we electoral system, how go elect them, now key thing when in this tripartite report, and we see say they want link them not only to how for choose who that for lead and who that for take over, but also how for shape power. Some people agree, some people are not agree. So let's start with the first video. We'll go play the first 2 videos. Then we'll go do analysis. Then we'll play a third one. We'll go comment. Then we'll score this governance issue. So if we control room can play the first video for we when at the speaker in the talk. And I'm number 3 man at the government.
The PR system, you know, are those, most of them are propagating this idea that SO2 na 10 years. It's a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous information to share to the public. That 10 years, where is it found? Where is the 10 years found anywhere? But that is not what I want to see. That is actually not what I want to see. What I want to see, you know, I want to ask a simple question. What is the link between the PR system extended to the executive level and a one-party state? What is that link? I refuse to see that link. Is there any link between, you know, the PR system being extended to the executive level and a one-party system? There's no link. In fact, that's all the more reason why when I suggested the PR system, you know, to be extended to the executive level, I said that there should be a national conversation. You know, any political system has gaps. There's no political system that is perfect. So that's all the more reason why we need, as a nation, to have a national conversation, so that when we sit and discuss the kind of political system we want, all of these gaps can be brought to the fore for discussion and resolution. If you know, for instance, that if they appoint somebody, that person will eventually act against your party and do something different, there is where we need to have a conversation. There is where we need to talk as a nation. But let me tell you, I keep on saying this. This way we are going as a nation, this way, this route we are using is not good for all of us. I listened to a member of parliament saying that, in fact, when you apply for jobs, like your surname, you know, your region, and all of that, saying all sorts of things. These are the perceptions we want to cure, but a system that will get everybody on board. Even if you are a small political party and at the election you are able to get 1%, you come on board. Even if you are a small political party, you go to elections and you are able to get a certain percentage, you come on board. So everybody's on board. The only thing we need to do is to get the president in charge. Otherwise, people will tend to undermine the president. Because if the president has the authority to hire and fire, for instance, if a political party has 40% in the executive and there's somebody there misbehaving, the president can easily fire you. But the president will refer back to your political party to replace you. But I come to realize that most people are saying no, because they have this idea, oh, this is our turn. That one is nowhere in our books. There's no 10 years. I am saying this for the edification of the public. It's a very dangerous assertion. It is something very dangerous to sell out to the public. Because there's assuming you go to elections and the same political party wins, what are you going to tell those people? What are you going to tell those people? Why do we need to tell our people that 10 years that we all turn this? And some people are saying, okay, now we all turn this because it's our own turn. That's why they are saying that. We are only saying this, you know, I only said that because out of some genuine feeling. Because I know the way this nation is going, the things we are doing now all in the name of politics. Because the moment one political party wins, the other political parties all over the place to discredit that political party, and in the process, we damage the image of our country, even internationally. We damage the image of our country, even internationally, all in the name of this politics. And even when some people are in the opposition, they begin to issue out threats. We have seen that over the social media. A whole senior citizen issued out threats. What will come? This is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. To the extent where everybody lives in fear. That trend is dangerous. It's dangerous. Some of us actually thought that with the kind of war we had in this country, as a nation, we are supposed to. We are actually supposed to be consultants advising other nations against a certain kind of politics. But it seems we have not learned our lessons. We have not learned our lessons. So we need to be careful. We are only saying this. It is not only for us, we who are here today, but our children. How do you want to leave behind your children where you think that at the end of the day, if your party is not in power, that child is going to be disadvantaged? How do you want to leave behind a nation like that? This trend is dangerous. So if we know that there will be gaps, let's go to the Miata Conference Center, let's go to the Bintumani Conference Center and have a national conversation on the kind of politics, the kind of political system that will unite us. That's all what we are interested in. The kind of political system that will not leave anyone behind. That when we go into elections, we don't have sleepless nights. Because I refuse to see the link between power sharing and one party system. You still, your appointee will still come to your party office and have your meetings. But nationally, he will be under the control of the president to make sure. In fact, as a nation, we need to legislate our development agenda. We need to come to this house and legislate what we want. At that national conversation, we will all come together. For instance, we want 100 roads constructed in Sierra Leone. So every political party that does, if the political party is to do a manifesto, that manifesto must only speak to how you'll be able to implement the development agenda. There should be no deviation. We put all the development issues together and we come and legislate that. Then we have a development book. So when you come to power, it is to execute that development agenda. These are the conversations we need to have as a nation. Otherwise, this trend is dangerous. Because people are beginning to say all over the place that 10 years, they left 3 years for the Hussein camp. And you fail to realize that we are going to have elections. We are not going to select anybody. It's going to be elections. It's only the popular candidate that will emerge as the winner. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we selling out all of this fake information about 10 years? Anyway, only we'll proceed.
They say we don't do nothing yet about the policies. Look at policy on recruitment and management of ad hoc staff. Look the other one. Stakeholders engagement policy. We don't do that. Look at public information and document policy. We don't do that.
All right, so now you get anything where you want.
Yes, I just want for make clarification on some of the radio discussions them with particular political parties that they talk about, say, all of these discussions where they get to now, or even some of the colleagues that where they update political parties, we have not done anything. I want to dispel that categorically, that we are on course. And I don't want many people they know, say, not for tripartite no more, we don't have a commission. We have a lot of other systems and processes in place. As we are seated here, a lot of them discussions that will relate to the tripartite, they already inside with strategic plan. By the end of the year, we will get for complete with strategic plan. People then will see all of that in them. As I see here, they say we don't do not yet about the policies. Look at policy on recruitment and management of ad hoc staff. Look the other one. Stakeholders engagement policy. We don't do that. Look at public information and document policy. We don't do that. The next thing we get for do no more now, as a commission, we don't already approve this in our working documents. But for many people that own this one, for seeing that the owner, who they go around for validate to strategic plan, who they present them back to them. So they approve them. Because we go get discussions with them around that. Then again, on legal reforms, as recent as 1 or 2 weeks ago, look at proposed amendments to the Public Elections Act of 2022. So we are doing all of this, and we are informing political parties. We are informing our stakeholders. We are working alongside with the Office of the AG and Ministry of Justice. So that tells you that we are moving. This train is not static. The train of ECSL is moving. That's the assurance I want to give the public.
Okay, family, in I don't hear waiting, we play them 2 videos here. The video we'll play will bring Mr. Speaker, where Mr. Speaker, 9 and number 3 man na the government. Because you get the president, you get the vice president, you get the speaker. Inca introduce something where not they, now the agreement, when I for extend power sharing to the executive, saying a part of PR system. And he talk about this 10 years. He said because people in the talk say after 10 years, I change. Why he call this 10-year business? Now because normally in the history of Sierra Leone, non-party since we come after the war, non-party and the 2 big party there, not ever some 2 term, 1 term. Now 2 term, we take Pakaba, it's have 2 term, he come out. And as Bayokoma come, it's have 2 term, he come out. Now Mara Biodon come, now in last year this, people and they expect say, in term for go, don't reach, and the other person, like changing the baton. But then they talk about the dialogue, how for choose them, this PR system. All them here when they say for do all this reform, all this tripartite system, boku talk, boku paper them, boku consultation. What is the purpose of the consultation? Do the people understand what in the happen? So I left and day, then when I go to do my assessment, I go assess parliament in your role. Because there are certain recommendations then at the tripartite when they not fulfill it, and then I bring the real problem. So over to you, sir. From them 2 videos we don't play.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. The thing that we want to comment on, I can feel the sincerity on the part of the speaker. I believe he actually sincerely, and he really bring issues then that we should be concerned about. He said the 10 years now misleading and misinformation that one day not true. There is no policy or the constitution will say every party for do 2 years, then the other party. The only thing we come with 2 terms, we might be interpreted as 10 years. Now, matter of how long a president can be president. That if you win the first term, win a 5, and then election come, you decide for run. Cannot always somebody when a president go run the second term for a variety of reasons. It can be that you too old, you not just get the physical and mental endurance for run again, for engaging campaign. Therefore, you say 1 time is enough. I think that Nelson Mandela do in South Africa. You know, Nelson Mandela could have run for another term, but he said, no, I think one term was plenty because of the age. Okay. And I think that shows the statesmanship in the man, because you think if you care about your country, you want to give your country your best when you are at your best. I would have seen in Africa, like President Bongo and some other characters like Mugabe, then they in an office state and become senile, they don't even know which in they pan. I mean, that is so unfair to the country. That is so selfish of the leader and the leadership, because you put yourself above the country. You know, you don't want soul, but you put your interests so selfishly above the country in interest that even when you don't get the mental and physical ability and capacity for act as head of state, you still insist and force yourself, say you want to remain president when you can gracefully go into retirement and live the rest of your life in dignity and in peace. So the 2 terms now for just for say, no matter what the circumstances are, you now go run more, like you're the most popular. This is an agreement all put into law. And watching at the law, no matter of if we get a piece of paper, now what we all commit ourselves to respect within that paper they say. Now ain't gonna make we all benefit from that. But we know say we see around the world for say, sometimes people then go in at the opposition, the law not the best weapon, what in the constitution say, only for let them get the opportunity for kind of power, then they try to change everything. But again, going to the selfish nature of human being, when you can't change everything, that means you put yourself above the country. They betray yourself and the promise of the country. You just decide to say, okay, now I don't get power. The rules structure the same. Just imagine if you play any game, whether it's football or any kind of game. You say, as long as other team they play, the rules for be fair to the 2 teams them. But when me on team they play, foul not to foul, handball not to handball. You know, how much fun you will get out of that game there if you change the rules so drastically like that, which is sometimes what some of the politicians they can do. Then go use the law when they're in the opposition, only for kind of power where they see like Ouattara na Ivory Coast. You see, for me, I don't get much regard for those kind of people, because then they treat the rest of the nation as everybody being stupid. Anybody can be that selfish. You can lie to the people and trick the people and kind of power, then you consolidate power. Then you begin, you know, like the man in Uganda. Okay? We'll go for the call-out 10 leaders there, because they all lead to them problems in Africa. Why we all never commit yourself to what we call the constitution and the terms? So this 10 years where they speak at the talk about. Now, I mean, I don't know whether people are intentionally they misinterpret, but the speaker is right. There is no such thing as 10 years other than the 10 years for the president, the 2-term, you know, and not to 10 or 5 years. After the first, like President Bio now, by law, you know, it cannot run. It will do 10 years. It does have 2 terms, 5 years. President Kabal, like me, served 2 terms. President Kuruma served 2 terms, you know. But there will come a time when the president, now 1 term it will serve, because Sultan is sick, you know, and not get the ability for run a 2nd term. Or a president go die in an office. So, but now the rules stand, because much a man, the 2 will differentiate we from animals then. Now, because of our ability for think and plan and execute the plans. So the only way we will run a country efficiently, progressively, and I suggest to a lot of people, because everybody get access to YouTube now. Please, 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 when I go on YouTube and see how other countries are being run. Gone are the days where they talk about Africa, black man, this and that. No. Now, there are some African countries that are doing exceptionally well. Exceptionally well, that if they say like Ethiopia, go take a look at Addis Ababa. See the massive progress where they go on there. It's hard for you to believe. No country is doing any better in terms of progress for the people. I encourage you now for going to YouTube, put in Addis Ababa or put Ethiopia and see, to the extent that even places like slums, like Bay, or then bad area where people, they don't clear them place and they take care of the people and put massive, impressive housing for the people them, where even America, with all the name and much, they will even build for their own poor people them. That's impressive. We people then deserve that. We were kind of power. We always say we learn the book. Now we forget vision. Not for kind of power now. That money they wouldn't take for build housing for the poor people. Them. You particularly, you or politician, want to go build 20, 40 oaths for yourself. It's not right. Go lead a country progressively. So at the same time, TMA could begin for take things seriously. The misinformation with the speaker they talk about at these 10 years is wrong, it's misleading. The speaker characterized them as dangerous, maybe so, maybe not, but the deliberate misleading of the people about the 10 years, I think it takes us nowhere. And then a party also could produce, just because a president get 2 terms, not necessarily in party is limited to those 2 terms. A president in party can be another 2 term, 1 term, this kind of thing. So the speaker's suggestion to make sense. He said we forget the national conversation. I'm very much impressed with that, because the only way we'll get a national conversation, now, because we all get different views. If we think about the country, they will all meet, they will all talk, and then we will try to arrive at what you will call reasonable and sincere conclusion for what's good for all. I mean, I'm impressed with the speaker again, because the speaker had to say, we'll get to think about posterity. We'll get to think about the Pekin and grandchildren. It's nice to hear somebody in speakership, in leadership position, for talk like that, because that's how a leader for talk. Think about the country, think about generations unborn, think about the helpless, and talk in those terms. So the speaker kind of impressed me in all those terms. I go let my colleague, who knows more about this, the speaker say, see the link between a PR system and the one-party system. So I don't know if my colleague want to address that, because I think he's more informed on that topic there than I am, in terms of, because the speaker say, see the link. But I think some people take an opposing view for, say, one synonymous with the other. But again, like I say, then the speaker touched on presidential authority. Now, I like what the speaker used the phrase, say, we won't forget the system where no one will be left behind. That's impressive. We're going to forget the speaker. Kudos on that. That's the way a leader for talk. You get for talk in terms of nationality, nationalism, the highest and the lowest in society. So those things are very impressive. And then the speaker talk about the image of a country. Those are good phrases to be used. The speaker mentioned that. In fact, the speaker sounds almost like a president. So that said, let me just go back. The only thing I would like my co-host for address, watching the speaker say, and I want to express an opinion, we say, see the link between the PR system and the one-party system. The speaker said there is no link. So, Mr. Mengot, back to you, sir. If that's a topic or an issue you would like to address, I would greatly appreciate it, because I am not that informed to be able to disagree or agree with the speaker.
Okay, sir. Let me just round up. Then I think say come to a point where I go do my own scoring of the issue, because I get beaucoup topic them, and you said go do and based on me go take the lead on that.
Yes.
Waiting the speaker the talk say about this idea of one-party system and PR system. We get discussion for PR system for elect members of parliament and councillors, which will be in 2023. And people will not be like that because according to what the speaker they talk, they may promise we say that system they go bring smaller political party, we will not see that. Right? Then they not happen. But that draw then I bring this tripartite system. So since all the debates, if I look at the objective of this change of government, we don't get a clear understanding with what the speaker talk about power sharing, about participation, and all that thing and they. And we don't need a PR system for let a president come and appoint ministers and head of parastatals from other party. You can still do them. President Kaba did it without a PR system. Because now they been there with Temu Bangura, with Temu Bangura and been Minister of Finance, but I've been coming from PDP Sobe. And as Koma said, do and just come. So, that is not to the issue. In terms of scoring, because we got a team for say, from what the speaker say, it seems as if we don't begin get a debate for understand the challenges of power, the business between them two political parties, this dogfight between one and the other. Now make sure you bring that 10 years. So that understanding they don't begin come. Then also we talk about the need for national dialogue. So in terms of the objective of all this governance reform and the discussion, I go give the governments will include both the governance architecture will include both the parliament and the government. I'll give them 60%. Next, now look at implementation plan. Now they didn't fail. Because why? I will tell you why. If we go upon the tripartite system, the recommendation, I go to recommendation 20. When the parliament don't fail we and the speaker said don't fail we. Recommendation 20 say, Parliament for create an oversight committee comprising of all political parties. And as we know, now 2 political parties there now. So, then they know all water represented in Parliament at a standing committee on electoral matters to review electoral cycle, the preparedness, guide legislative reform, and he say that committee there should be chaired by an MP from the opposition, and Parliament to get an annual debate on the Electoral Commission's annual report submitted under Section 2. So then they will not see them. So nothing like that will not happen. So the committee way for guide this process no day. That's not a minus. Also, we see the other video where the ECSL acting commissioner, they show boku paper there where they don't do. Say then go around. These are complicated issues then. So how we don't do this report, we don't do that report, we don't do that. Access to information we get them. Right? So even if you look at all the reform then they, who say you go get them? Then forget a dedicated platform where then go put them. Then we wait in them program here, like what they do so we go able to analyze them, make with people there. So then they again now a minus. Also, the same two-way campaign, the implementation, the party them, they still not coming to an agreement as to, they say we get boku law, they will not change. Then law and they then draft them, they may forgo a parliament in October. For let parliament say, well, the changes there for the electoral laws. All of a sudden, they may care and go, but the parliament not great debate. So we come understanding of the challenges, I will give 60%. When it comes on implementation, I'm afraid na 30% I will give them. The last one, when I change. For me, for the whole year, I don't see any change. Because why I not see any change? Because that report day na 2024. This now end of 2025. We dey go 2026. The preparation. Then they talk about census. Census don't go for 1 year before. And census is very important. Then they also talk about, say some of them reviewed and they need referendum, constitutional amendment. You know, amend the constitution without referendum. Nobody not talk about the referendum bill. So in terms of change management, again, I would say 30%. So if you do the roundup, 60 plus 30 plus 30, the average for government on governance, I would say 40%. Over to you, sir. What do you think?
Thank you again, Mr. Mengot. Well, I am in almost total agreement with your assessment and your reasons, both in terms of the objective way of trying to reach some of these things where you score them on a 60%, then the implementation, 30%, any change brought about, we say 30%. Of course, my position, let me start with the change brought about. Well, we haven't seen any change because things remain stale or stagnant or stagnated. So because of that, we not see any change for the better in terms of parliamentary activities that will move the country forward. And so you give them 30%, but I don't even know how to score that, because if there is no movement, if there is no change, and we are back where we are, I will leave it, the change in terms of being brought about, to me, I will leave it at 0. Implementation, this is one of the biggest problems in the country, because we can pass laws, but if you pass laws, you not implement them, you not find the means by which they can be put into effect, it's useless. The exercise is an exercise in futility. It's a waste of time. Any activity or any action government is going to take or embark upon, going with that action will be ways and means of implementing or effectuating or carrying out then laws than the way government they talk about. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So we get the practice of just coming up, which I would call grandstanding. We get great ideas. What it looks like, they're not the try for say, okay, what we do, like for instance, we'll talk about stoplights. We need stoplights. Now, in today's world, there is but so much a police officer manually can able to do in terms of regulating or controlling or directing traffic. It definitely takes machinery such as the stoplights. But what good does it do if the stoplight not get a center where then go to monitor, a monitoring center, and then from which wherever that monitoring center they then go be able to point out to officers who are on duty, who are at the locations, about irregularities, or violations. And then not only that, even if you point out to the officers about violations, because we talk about effectuating, implementing. So now you tell an officer, says somebody don't go through the red light. The officer doesn't have a bicycle. He doesn't have a motorbike. He doesn't have a police vehicle. So how does he implement effectively that violation there? Like a citation, just a warning citation. So when we talk, it's good for theoretically just get the ideas, yeah? Go to parliament, go through the motion, but we for be sincere to the country, because our improvement you want to see. Because if we see improvement in engineering day, we won't be talking about at the end of it all, we're not to see any change or we see stagnation. We would be talking about the improvement, even if it's gradual. So we strongly encourage the legislators then now come up with any idea about legislating conduct. If you now go simultaneously including that idea there, how to get the intended result. The intended result is necessary. We cannot, otherwise, this whole thing about just paying parliamentarians there or going through the motion, and then at the end of it all, when you look back, you say, well, we have not seen any improvement, we have not achieved anything. So my score on the change brought about, I think I'll leave it at 10%. And as in my humble opinion, it's not a form of criticism. I hope the people in charge will appreciate. Everybody loves to have a passing grade, but we just try to do in our own humble way what we think is good for the country, and we want we legislators them and government officials them for understand, say, there are some of us who love the country as much as they do, or even better. So their actions will be scrutinized, will be critically reviewed, and we will make an assessment. So because of that, I will give them 10%, implementation 10%, and the objective or purpose for which something comes about, I'll give them 80%. 80%. They get great ideas. But sometimes I wonder if we're just simply copying system of another country, but we're not trying to implement the system with the copy because we don't understand it very well. So at this stage, this is all I would say, because I don't want to let we eat up too much time. Because we can spend hours on this, but we'll get very limited time for deal with all the issues that we want to bring up. So with that said, I'll go back to you, Mr. Mengot.
Well, just for let viewers, they know the score they will give, and we give individual score, and then itself will come. When it comes to objective and purpose, I give the 60%, Mr. Shilongi 80%. When it comes to implementation, I give 30%, Mr. Shilongi 10%. And when it comes to change, I give 30%, Mr. Shilongi 0. So when we round up, for governance, the average score is 40% for me, 30% for Mr. Shilong. So now go to the next topic. And we want an opinion, and I can phone in, and I can challenge what you say. We can get in our own views. The next one are the economy and finance. This is very important. There are lots of things that will happen all throughout the year. But one of the things that we will look at for the year in review, and it just happened, now the budget. And our government, they spend in copper, and our government, they get a copper. Number one, Sierra Leone is heavily dependent on donor funds. And one of the key people in the IMF, we see say recently, IMF can do a review. It turned political football. But then for God's sake, I think they know they give it up to even 400 million. And then they put conditions. And waiting have been conditions, and they say we're spending too much. You know, we spend more than we earn. Lots of corruption. With procurement system, no problem. And we get a deficit when it comes to the budget. So we get a deficit of 3.89 billion. We mean say, what you budget and what you get, we get for fan outside all day for Kobara. Because over the period where this government on there, for the 7 years, according to reports, we debt, total debt, both external and domestic debt, don't go over 3 billion dollars, sorry. That is not good. So, for Leo, we are the government inside. Let we ask the control room for play the 2 video then for we, video 4 and 5, where one deal with waiting the financial secretary and the other one for tax policy. Then we can comment on that. They will try for score the economy as well. So over to you, sir. Before I go, Mr. Shillon.
Yes, sir.
I think so you can read some of the comments there we'll get first before we go to the next.
Do before the control room. Let me read a couple of one comment. Just go back. I hope the control room will put it back on the screen. What is the need for PR system when it is only for people to represent their parties? What good is it for those of us who do not belong to political parties? So, do you want me to read it again, Mr. Mengot? This person is asking.
Yeah, I've had it loud and clear.
Okay, all right. So if the control room can also pose or put back on the screen a comment that they just took off the screen just a minute ago, which seemed okay. Say good evening to both of you from my humble abode in Wembley area of North London, but there is no comment. So good evening to you too, sir, or ma'am, whoever you may be. If you get any question, please be kind enough to just send it to us or call in. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Mr. Mengot. We'll go answer that question about what good is the PR. You may want to answer it, Mr. Mengot. What?
Okay, it said what good is the PR system
when it is only for people to represent their parties? What good is it for those of us who do not belong to either political parties or any political party?
Well, the point is, again, that makes so we go with score, because when it comes on the implementation, change management, Mr. Shillon rightfully give them 0. Because the PR system, do what them in promissory, bring other political parties then come, make provision for independent candidates them, and also it make a system where the MP them, they not elect them by constituency. Now the party that elects them, now party list then go to, so the allegiance they to the party then, and we can see where they take critical votes then a parliament, how the allegiance they turn out to be, especially when we deal with issues them for how they remove the Auditor General of Parliament with some other issues that were based on party lines. There's another comment. I don't know if it's the same comment, if you are read them.
Yeah, there's a thing. There's another comment. The politicians can do us a big favor by explaining the advantages and disadvantages of both the PR and the first past the post systems to make it easier for the public to decide. I agree. We have to simplify matters and be more explanatory in pursuit of what we think is good for the country. I can read them again. The politicians can do us a big favor. It's gone out. Okay, there's another comment. Okay, let me go back. The politicians can do us a big favor by explaining the advantages and disadvantages of both the PR and the first past the post systems to make it easier for the public to decide. I'm in total agreement with them. That's what we should do, not to make it confusing or complicated. I agree. Then we can post the other comments we just come in just now before we start making an analysis. Okay, whilst they are joking for flag bearership, the June 24th result has still not been announced as the final tally yet. They talk about agreements. You get that, Mr. Mengot?
Yes, I get them. So, okay, because we get time, we don't look at this one. One of the things where I would like for comment is that, again, this is what we say in the last postway comment. This consultation, where even the speaker talk about dialogue for go round. Now that makes us score them badly in implementation, because recommendation 78 of the report say there should be a national dialogue on the choice of electoral system to be adopted for parliament. And they say they don't consult. You, Mr. Chilon, you are so many times here, and myself, I support what they say, where they say, waiting I mean by consultation. We don't see boku video whether the people they understand what they talk about. It is up to the government for present to the people, as the caller say, or the person with texter say, waiting at the advantages and disadvantages, because they may not even go into money. When majority of people say they don't want PR system. They don't want PR system in terms of the vote. And this is very crucial to the next government. So we will still continue the debate. We will look forward to next year. Well, as I say again, Lord not dwell too much on this. Lord go to the next one when at the economy. Lord get the video then play so we can continue with the program. If control room can play with video 4 and 5, we deal with waiting the financial sector tell we, and waiting our tax policy for 2026.
The tax policy measures, the Speaker and members, tax policy.
We believe say the economy is on the right path. And so with all other things coming on board by next year, 2026, like mining, we have about 4 or 5 large-scale mining contracts that we already set concluded on gold mining, iron ore, where most of them they pick up big in 2026 and 2027. So we will see a lot of economic recovery.
Now, how are you able to assess the current state of the country economy?
Well, the current state of the economy, I think we trend towards the right direction now. We don't really go through some tough patch for the past 2 years. And we, in terms of what's in the indicators they say, because whenever you want to assess the economy, economists them or international organizations, the way they give their opinion and then they rely on what we call like macroeconomic indicators. If those indicators are within the range expected, then they know say they do well. But if they're far out of the range, then they know say the economy they do well. So firstly, it starts with the growth of the economy, whether your economy projects and for they grow. If it projects for the growth, then which means there are hopes that recovery will take place and economic activities then will come up and employment and all of these things will follow. So for the growth in the first place, from 2024, we grow by 4.4% of GDP, and then 2025 we'll do so now. We expect the economy for grow by another 0.1, they go to 4.5% of GDP, and 2026 again we expect say will continue for grow at the same 4.5. But when we say they grow, it means now growth upon growth. It can still go by the same 4.5%, but in other words, the value of goods and services that we Sierra Leone will produce will still not increase. So on the growth trajectory, looking at all the investments that we don't happen, we take place in the country now on manufacturing, we see a lot of new factories we don't open. Most of them don't begin produce local goods from iron ore. I mean, I call it iron rods, right? Cement and all of these things. When they begin producing Sierra Leone locally, and even those that were they in the other sectors of manufacturing, where they do food, oil, vegetable, and things like that. We see say the output from those sectors they increase. And so with that, we expect say the economy get for the do well. And then one other indicator that they look at now, inflation. With inflation may not be about 54-55% from June 2023 to July 2023. But that inflation day, we don't work hard with the central bank, Statistics Sierra Leone, and other agencies. We don't bring count down now at 6.4% as at this July 2025, we just passed. Now 6.5%. So now it is single digit. So we intentional for keep them at that single digit say, because it gives stability to prices. It make people able to predict how much they will buy goods that the market as over time. And then of course, one of the key indicators they look at now the exchange rates. The exchange rates in the country. If it's too volatile, it make people then business houses or even individuals then find it difficult for plan how for go about for do investments or even how for take care of their livelihood. The exchange rate is something also from October 2023. So now we are only almost coming to 2 years. It has been stable around 22 leons. to the dollar. So you see, so that predictability, they don't help for make businesses they able for forecast now how much forex they need for coming for invest and how much that will translate to into their prices and how they go for sell their goods and recover the investments. So which is doing well. So these indicators then they're all the trend towards the right trajectory now. So now that make we believe say the economy they on the right path. And so with all other things coming on board by next year, 2026, like mining, we have about 4 or 5 large-scale mining contracts that we already concluded on gold mining, iron ore. Where most of them they pick up in big in 2026 and 2027. So we will see a lot of economic recovery and things happening going forward.
The tax policy measures. Speaker, honorable members, tax policy measures are designed to protect the poor, support the local businesses, address environmental concerns, while raising revenue to invest more in social and economic sectors. These measures are expected to yield 1.5% of GDP in additional revenues by 2027 and improve the revenue efforts to 11.8% of GDP in 2026. For the fiscal year 2026, the following tax policy measures will be introduced. 1. Expand scope of the minimum voluntary tax to include all companies to effectively tackle income tax evasion and avoidance. Government will also abolish the investment allowance since businesses are already benefiting from accelerated depreciation of capital items. Both measures are projected to yield about 187.5 million in additional revenues. Restore the corporate income tax rate from its COVID-adjusted rate of 25% in the Finance Bill Act of 2020 to 30%. This aligns with the regional average and normalizes with the top personal income tax rate, and the restored rate is expected to yield 703 million new leons in additional revenues. 3. Will harmonize the withholding tax rates on rental income with other capital income such as interest, dividend, and royalties, 15% consistent with the NTRS objectives. The measures will generate an estimated amount of 21 million new leons in additional revenues. 4. Raise the withholding tax rates on capital income and other payments to non-residents from 15 to 20% as a final tax. This will generate additional 199.7 million in projected revenues. 5th, will adjust an excise duty on diesel and petrol to 5 leons per litre to maintain the real value of the excise revenue following the high inflation and depreciation of the leons in 2023 and 2024. Overall, these adjustments are expected to generate 971.4 million in additional revenues. These resources will be used to support social programs, including school feeding, free healthcare initiative, and cash transfer, especially to the aged. 6. Increase the excise tax rate on tobacco and tobacco products, especially cigarettes, from 2 leons to 3 leons per pack of 26 to effectively influence consumption behavior, internalize the social costs of consuming cigarettes while generating predictable revenues to fund specific health initiatives related to the effect of these products. This measure is expected to yield an estimated amount of 187.5 million new leons. 7. Will restore the excise duty of 10 leons per 50 kilogram of cement and cement products, which was suspended to cushion the effects of the global crisis and COVID pandemic on businesses and households. The measure is expected to generate an additional revenue of 207.7 million leons. We will raise the circulation levy to 500 leons and expand its scope to include other movable mechanically powered vehicular objects such as cars, trucks, buses, and three-wheelers. Motorbikes will be subjected to an annual circulation level of 200 leons each per year. We will introduce a circulation level of $1,000 or $500 on commercial boats and vessels used as water taxis industrial fishing vessels, or other similar vessels depending on their capacity as defined in the Finance Act 2026. The review of the annual circulation levy is aimed at protecting the environment. And this measure is expected to mobilize additional domestic revenue of 12 million millions. We will rationalize the exemption from goods and services tax by restoring goods and service tax on certain high-end consumption items such as packaged and processed seafood, periodical and magazines, and other commercial and industrial supply of water. This policy is to broaden the tax base of the GST and increase government revenue, yielding an estimated revenue of 159.4 million euros. All other items consumed by the poor remain exempted from GST. We will continue to implement the full pass-through petroleum pricing formula to protect revenues from excise duties and other levies on fuel and from fluctuations in exchange rates and international price of fuel. To this end, government will maintain the excise duty rates legislated in the Finance Act 2026. We will increase import duties on imported tomato ketchup, tomato paste, Maggi, bottled water, eggs, plywood, wooden poles, and nails to 35% consistent with the high band of ECOWAS recommended tariff on these commodities to promote our local industries and the production of import substitutes. And will exempt from the payment of GST and import duty LPG, liquid petroleum gas, liquefied petroleum gas, and its accessories, cooking stove, solar panels, and other home systems components consumed mainly by low-income households. This policy seeks to address environmental concerns and support the last-mile initiative of penetrating renewable energy use in the country.
Yes, sir. This is a lot of things to chew on. But I will pick one or two things them we can inside. Number one, let's start first with the finance minister. It's very good that they talk about, say, the currency don't stable for the past 1 year, which is 22 leons to the dollar for almost 1 year. They also talk about, say, inflation don't reduce from 2023 from 54% to 6.4%, right? And it talk about growth, where 4.4% of GDP, 4.5. All that here we talk about, we are very good on statistics. But don't compare this to some of the tax dynamics I play alongside. I pick one or two things on the tax business there. I know say most people they not go catch up. But one of the things that we put na team for do tax on circulation fee. What's in that circulation fee there? This now for every vehicle. Because it said they want increase circulation fee to 500 leons per vehicle, which is whether in a private vehicle or a puda. 500 leons, that circulation fee, waiting at the purpose of the circulation fee. Is it just to increase revenue? Because when you raise 500 leons circulation fee, especially for the commercial people, then go add them to the cost. Remember saying a government and the set price. So, you know, they encourage entrepreneurship in the transport industry. Then you said and they increase import duty on tomato, ketchup, eggs, and all that thing, and they of 35% because they want to encourage local industry. So, almost people they produce them. They tell me about say the economy, they say they know mining, they focus too much on mining. Say then they go help. But we don't know, say, when you look at the amount of mining, one report been there will been get to and saying billions with the export. in dollars, but what's in the government they get, it's less than 100,000, less than 100 million leons, sorry. So we are good on paper, good on strategy, but the factory then where they say the iron rods, cement, food, what in they not tell we? Now, how many people them, then people here they bring come, then new industry here they bring come for bring jobs come, because we increase jobs, people then go pay tax, we go increase government revenue. Overall, it seems as if we depend too much on debt servicing from other people then. So, from what I gather, these are lots of the things them way then they talk about. And I think say, then they tax the few people then. Then the other thing where you talk about, now corporate tax, corporate income tax. If you say you are encourage business, how come you they improve corporate income tax from 25% to 30%? I think say some of them here, they need to look at the ripple effect, and government continue for be the majority employer in the country. So over to you, sir. What do you think about all here way from both the financial secretary and the Minister of Finance in tax policy?
All right. Me own take on it. I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to go toe-to-toe with the Minister or the Financial Secretary. But what you mean, just as a matter of the basic that I understand from what you say, I think from the Minister, we'll get a lot. The Minister in statement is long on projection, but very much short on specificities or on specifics or on detail. Because when you say we get some large-scale contracts, we either are in effect now or are going to be in effect, I think the minister will have been doing us a favor by telling us what is his description of large-scale contracts. Make a comparison with what we get going now. So we go make our own decision as to whether the scale any much larger than is leading us to believe. Because you say the economy is moving forward, because to me, everything is based on generalities. But some specificities will have made a difference in terms of what to expect. One of these large scale contracts, Mr. Mengo just talked about or referenced briefly, we didn't say in we minerals them, they export billions of dollars worth of raw materials. Yet in return, we're getting somewhere in the average of about 100 million, let's be kind, let's even say $200 million compared to, let's say 1 billion or $2-3 billion. So are we getting anything? Why didn't the minister tell us? If he can tell me, as things are now, what are we getting? What are these large scale contracts compared to what that is projecting compared to what you will get now? All of that will have helped for let we understand. Because, and then when we start talking about tariff, which is indeed is correct, because a tariff is a tax. But you say for then raise for the tax on imported goods like tomato paste and other things, tomato and tomato paste, tomato ketchup and all that in there, for protect local industries. What local industries do we have to be protected? Are we too much better off if we encourage and broaden the scope for import and lower the duty? That way, because competition is a basic economic theory. With competition, prices will be driven down, quality will improve because the competition is allowed. And I will not forget for saying, in this same system where the minister they talk about, we are greatly encouraging monopoly. And you know, when you get monopoly, it drive down quality, it raise prices for inferior goods. So we're engaged in a contradiction. Do away with monopoly, which we seem to have in a lot of the areas certain Sierra Leoneans want to get into. They're telling them, oh, somebody else is in that area, we can't allow you. Why just not let it be free? Then you are import whatever, let it come. The competition will lower the price. The competition will improve quality. So it's good for going to parliament and you look at the financial secretary reading all these things. It's impressive, it's good, but sometimes I think they need to break it down so people can actually feel and see. And then the minister talk about inflation was about 50%, it's gone down all the way to 6%. Well, my thing is, for God's sake, tell me anybody in Sierra Leone who will tell you, say, in see such a drastic reduction in prices of anything, the gap between over 50% inflation to 6%. People will feel it. Give us instances. Give us examples. I'd like for let the minister or the secretary, then they talk about engineering, they for say, a year ago, such and such cost such and such. Now, the same product costs such and such. That's how you talk to we. We know then a power, we know land better book, let we understand. Because the man we can read, the woman who can't read and write, he still got to go out there and cope with the existing situation. So this is not time for those come for the talk book. Where sometimes we will refer to talk platitudes, imaginary stuff. So if inflation has dropped down to such a significant, because we're talking about in a year or so, this minister is telling us inflation has fallen from over 50% to 6%. That should be felt, that should be experienced, that should be seen and felt by anybody. But tell me one product that we know of where in 1 year has gone down to any degree, let alone to, let's say, 45% reduction. And nobody who would I feel say inflation is just 6% in the country. What are they basing the statistics them on? So there are a lot of things we can do for help with people, and because government is all about helping the people and the country, because who is the people? The people, the country and the people. So you can't differentiate between us. But may not see any policy here where me hear from the minister will give me encouragement for say there are better days or happy days. Then and talk about some exemption. I think items consumed by the poor are exempted from tax or taxation. What items that the poor we're so specific to the poor that we all eat per mind, the minister or the lawyer, the doctor, the engineer, the listener, we eat per mind almost daily. We eat petit leaf almost daily. We eat cassava bread or cassava almost daily. We eat fufu almost daily. We eat and so I like to see when are the items where that is just consumed by the poor. Who are the poor in this sense? And, that they say is exempt from taxation. So again, those are broad generalities. It doesn't do any good. It's impressive. In parliament, you read this thing in nice, eloquent way. We are all impressed that the minister, they tell we, well, break them down for we. Because at the end of the day, we're not to Englishman. English not to a basic language. I think that's also where I think we begin to be a little resourceful and creative. When it comes to reading and things there, before we begin to condemn, because then they teach Creole at school, some people in the city don't see any use. Maybe there is a use for Creole, reaching Creole. So it will have been much better if the minister had read it in Creole, which is being taught in school, which some ministers are even discouraging and say it's not necessary. But when you sit down, you listen to all this kind of reading by the minister or by the secretary, you begin to wonder, is it not a good idea for let we even improve teaching Creole in school so you can read out? So the average man, the taxi driver, the keke driver, the security guard, the fisherman, go know what you talk, go for Oxford or Yale or get a PhD, So with resourcefulness, not for be limited to just and standing up, because 99% of the population, even those of us who can read and write, I don't understand 90% of which in the minister they say or which in the permanent secretary they talk about. But we are the people. We make up the country. So for we own sake and for the good of the country, I go encourage the government too to be resourceful. How do you deliver some of them high-minded economic theories then? How do you break it down to the rest of us? So instead of reading all in here, well, me as an educated person, 90%, maybe more, I don't even understand what the minister they talk about. So that are my own comments, but let me take a couple of calls because time is of the essence. Let me take a couple of calls. Hello, caller. Which name you say to call from?
No, from Leicester. How do I do, gentlemen?
We're doing great, sir. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir. I listened to that young man which is on a parliament, all which he talk. Then just the leak, she say, and the school man, he not diet, but they don't begin for judge him now in this world, yeah. Because if you meet the speaker in a parliament where a retired judge, so which is not to offline person. Sorry to talk about that because we're an offline person, but we are more. I mean, Tradio, I not talk about now. Tradio, the Creole man, is more likely for be a straightforward person than an offline man. Well, it only change small, but any side put offline man, they hesitate for do the worst. So, and a school man, I begin this year, he put Ibrahim Bundu as speaker, and when an APC man. Now, look at the way the speakership on the all man, because tomorrow they come out talk say, oh, in a way, in the other part of the world, people they can be the America and the Democrats or this, they call other country Ghana. But then many not forget, say, we own country, the way we worship political party, we are second to none. We political party na matter. Na the only thing they look at. They look at. So this man don't do a lot of bad things in this short period. A very young man. That they will be thinking because Abbas Bundu the generation too corrupt and now make things that happen. So what he needs to pass Abbas Bundu. He talk like say people and they give bad information. Government now the biggest misinformer. It's a sad thing, say, and Skurma do this kind of thing, think when they sit down at that office, they don't think now. It's the same thing that we do right now. If you say that power will continue for the around them, we will do manipulation till within the power. That is what they are thinking. They don't think beyond that. That's what I want to talk about now. When Mr. Mengo talk about the deficit in the economy or the budget, 2025, the budget will be pulled about 27 billion, when that's on 7 trillion. The revenue of government, not even 15 trillion, not even half of that money. That's all government revenue day. So now, report don't come out from United Nations talk say, then don't spend 30 billion this year. Where the revenue would on day, plus what you're not giving now 17.9 billion. So there's a deficit of over 12 billion or 12 trillion. Now they talk about 3.89 billion, where they say at 6%. So what that means to inform person here? Me like a Mr. Carbono can do, Mr. Left for dig. Then they tell me something as well, Aram. But you can work out figures there of finance. From last year, when they count this exponential budget, I talk about, I say they don't have that money. And last year we borrowed $500 million. That 12 billion we did not spend. We not get anything for show for pass for campaign salary. Because normally all them country there, then they borrow money, they invest on side, which have money they come or revenue they come to the state. We not for campaign salary. Who does that? So now anybody tell you say now 3.89 billion na refugee, tell us in a lie. Salon deficit is past 40%. Well, if they want to say who's I pull them, look the 2025 budget so they make out. In order to, but they don't spend 30 billion right now. And the revenue they don't get now 17.9. To make people know say when they talk about people with the government, all what they want to do now for control the narrative. How for talk, things they will for the talking at public or social media, and then get interested on. But for say then they tell the people in the truth, na lie. The biggest misinformer na government. Now that will answer. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, before you come, I just want to make one correction. The deficit is not saying at 3.89 billion. It's saying at 3.89% of gross domestic product. So it puts them in terms of percentage of GDP, right? Recurrent expenditure, when I'm waiting and they spend for pay salaries and all that thing and they now 11.4% of GDP. Then capital expenditure now 9.8% of GDP. So now a percentage of GDP now I put not in actual it will find out correct standing. But anyway, it's good because we get time now. We get so many topics that we want to do. So let's do scoring on this economy. Right?
Can I take another call? To you first, Mr. Can I take another call? Can I take another call before we do that?
Yeah, take another call.
Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from? Hello, caller. Okay, you may go ahead. The caller may call back. Go ahead, Mr. Mengoch.
Okay, so in terms of this budget now, one of the things I want to comment, they read the budget in the parliament. Like we were in England, we know say, when they do budget, we get analysts them. We go in a television. We go explain to we what they mean in terms of with taxes they will pay, in terms of the food they will buy, the difference in almost we go better off in we pockets. So now that we need more or less, and the government, as you say, we play them video because this is a direct interview them from parliament, but it is up to them. Because for instance, where government they say they don't get factory them where they produce iron rods, cement, vegetable food, and all that thing and they. Who say them factory and they almost people and they employ and almost then they add to the economy. So now left and so I see people in the comments. If you can read the comment for me.
All right. Comment number 1. By excluding minority political parties from these discussions, the APC and SLPP are deliberately imposing their will on certain sections of Sierra Leonean society. Then one comment. May I take a look at the other one, please? We are 2 years to the next elections and campaigning has already started in the ruling government and we can see the chaos ahead. Is that the other one? So I don't know if you want me to repeat the former one. If the economy is on the, okay, there's another one. If the economy is on the up, why does the IMF give 78 million to address wages, which means more conditions and less leverage for the government? Who's fooling who? So, unless you want me to read that again, Mr. Mengot.
No, I get it loud and clear.
Okay. So we get that.
So in other words, what in this caller they say, we are going, because remember, say, when they do the budgets, they talk about a deficit budget. The deficit's not 3.89% of GDP. So we they go to IMF for letting give budgetary support. So most recently, the only thing they can give now $78 million. And that money they give now for meet recurrent expenditure, budget deficit, not for even investment. So in other words, the situation is very dire. We depend on external support for manage the economy. So which means all them talk the way they talk about production, they increase, would they create more local businesses, wait for pay more tax. For instance, that is at odds with where you say you they increase corporate tax, income tax from 25% to 30%. Then they discourage business. So I not see the link between the two. And that's not a serious thing. I think Sla left and they so, and as I say, I am also not an economist, but I can actually use common sense for discern some of them here when they talk. So we'll get some time, but I don't know if you want to do the scoring now. Then we'll go to the next topic when judiciary, law and order.
Yeah, I think go ahead and do the scoring and then we'll move forward. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me start with you.
No, I think
no, you can come in for me.
Yeah, I will welcome your economic expertise here. Okay. So we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, say we waiting here. We get people that way now master sabi people in the economy, and we produce an economist. When Mr. Abdul Karim Kago, we go and let Rob Mott pan this thing for we small because a very important thing. Let it bring you on. If only in then two issues I will deal with the governance and the economy, it affects a lot of people then. But before you say that, you can read one comment, then we go bring Mr. Abdul Karim Kago for we. Go ahead, Mr. Shillon.
I think we better read them. I will read them again. If the economy is on the up, why does the IMF give 78 million to address wages, which means more conditions and less leverage for the government? Who is fooling who?
Okay, sir. Mr. Kago, welcome to the show, and let's get your view on this one.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. In this, I don't normally do this, but I just feel I will try enough to hijack the program.
You're not. We were excited to have you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just clarification. The first stuff, that inflation. Boku people in our salon, and rightfully so, because it's very complex. When they say inflation, then can you assess them as the actual price? Because Mr. Shillon, you say, okay, well, then say inflation come up from 54% to now 6%. So they ask, well, why will not see that the prices then reduce? So boku people in the so. But inflation, now the rate at which price they go up, not to the actual price itself. Now the change in the price. For that price come down, now what we call deflation. So that year over year comparison, it go negative. If it be say inflation now don't be from, let's say, 54%, now minus something percent, that minus the meaning now the price they go down because the way high they change from one year to the other year don't go down. So it will be negative. But anytime it be positive, if even now 1%, it means the price then within at the market, it add by 1%. So now that inflation mean. So once do not use deflation, it means price they continue for go up. So now within it they talk about say the 6%, it go consider stabilization. Say where you dey go buy next year or the next year you dey go buy, you get under your mind say now this price go be. So within that 6% mean, it means say waiting you be bam last year, if you go the same time this year, you go expect the price from last year go up only by 6% instead of by 54%. So let we put number into it. Let's say last year something cost 100 leons. This year 6%. It will cost now 106 leons. So it not go down. So the previous year, where now be 54%, if you take that 100 leons example, it means the next year or compared to last year, price that don't go up from 100 leons to 154 leons. So now the difference that. So price still they go up. So now that make, again, send yourself, we don't make that mistake there. We interpret inflation, say, actual price that don't go down. And that's make I agree with you, saying people are supposed for the talk Creole. Because the Creole now we able to explain to people in this way. Say not a price they go down or for say the actual price they go down. Now the way how price they go up now don't slow down. So I just want to make that clarification there. And then I don't know if I get a question to that because I just want to
very quickly, I would just want to say, so I understand you for say, in a nutshell, because you see, when they use them thing then they fool with the people, or maybe I don't know what and deliberately. So as you say, inflation will be 54%. So yes. The only advantage is now, using the $100 example where you use, yes. So now, so let's do away with the fact that if even when inflation goes down, yes, it doesn't interpret literally into prices going down.
That's
it just
correct.
Means prices are still moving up, but at a slower pace.
Wonderful. 100% correct. Now the right interpretation that. But you see what thing that they do and deliberately for confuse people them. Because all the time they whether they can TV, inflation don't go down, so the economy they do well. And that's another thing. Inflation is very complex in the sense that the thing the way they cause inflation for go down, at times they can be even concerning. One example is, I don't talk about on one show extensively, but one example is where people and they make more money, and then the people where they make them tier the goods that we people and they buy, it take time for let they're able for make them. So because of that gap, that time, so the small thing that we did at the market, because of more people and they make money, meaning like income or wage don't go up. So you find out, say, then people and they then go willing for pay more. So then they put pressure up at the price for go up. But if the price they slow down, it can also mean, say, people don't get better money. So now, because of the demand don't go down, make inflation they go down. So, they put this inflation, like say, now magic bullet, where inflation can down, that means the economy they do well.
The government is doing great, yeah.
Exactly, not necessarily. So then they set now the other misconception. They deliberately mislead people about this whole inflation. It's very complex, the thing the way they cause inflation. You get both supply and demand part of them. I'm not going to go into that. Then the other thing, you ask the question, Mr. Shillon, where you say, whose goods then consider poor man goods? Then they set out a laughable assessment that. So how you go say you get goods them where they consume by poor people them, and then goods then they exempt? That's questionable. And then do it deliberately for play politics. say, oh, we the poor people and the thing that way we they buy, they put the GST tax not the panel. But ask yourself, who's thing the way the poor people they eat where gentlemen they eat?
That's
and
my
this
question.
tax not a way to call luxury goods them all. Let's say, for example, that tomato paste. Ebo poor man no sabi eat tomato paste. Poor man no sabi eat ketchup. You know, so then but again, lastly, then I go allow una now for continue. This whole tax, in theory and in practice, where you put so much tax on the economy, it delay the growth. So it not add up for let them say the economy they expect the economy for grow significantly next year, and then the tax burden so much that not add up at all. Given that the wage bill it all high and the debt don't too much, so meaning that a lot of this all revenue that they talk about, not of us stimulate the economy. Now for like they currently run the way how then they run the country, where now for pay bills, wage bills, and for service the debt, and then two things and they need to expand economy at all. So again, in theory, both theory and practice, it don't make any sense for let them say them budget go stimulate the economy. I go tap here and I hope say I not confuse people anymore. But again, that inflation, I want to let people understand say as long as it be positive, price they continue for go up. Una thank you and sorry again for jumping. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Kago, you have a new student on your list because I did not understand it. I understand it better now how you explain it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and thank you for giving me the time.
Okay, sir. Mr. Mengo, to you, sir.
No, so can we do the scoring? But given the time,
Yes,
I think
yes,
saying one
yes,
game more topic we'll be able to do when at the judiciary.
Okay, let's do the scoring, and then we'll move on.
Okay, now, in terms of the objective of the budget, given the explanation we don't get, when I say a growth budget, me go give 10%. Because when I see the different tax them, where they don't put, even in my own area, when I transport, for God's sake, why you they charge circulation fee? What is circulation fee mean? It means that the use of the road. So you they charge that double jeopardy, double taxation. You they charge me for pay road tax. Yeah. You they charge me for vehicle registration. Then they go charge me back for circulation fee. That did not make sense. When it comes to the implementation, we get problem again. Because the money what they raise is less than what they earn. So most of them here will not go be implement them. Because recently we hear even the local government they say some of the money they will forgive them for 2025 who don't come to the end of the year, they not even get half of it. Yet still, then they talk say we go for expand local government. That again, I will get another 10%. Change management, from what I know, now 0%. So my overall score will be less than average of 10%. Over to you.
All right, sir. With me, again, on the growth projects, you see, the thing that concerns me here, and I also want to make clear, because what you would say now, if people can just listen, we are trying to be as objective as we can. But what we do not want some of the officials to get away with, and for just come and talk to everybody, talk to the country as if we self no know ABC. Really the impress upon them, minister, them members of parliament, treat we as if we get some basic understanding of what we want to talk about. Now I realize the government has to be cast in the best possible light. That's understandable. Now you job down there. I want to job down there. But let we do so in a way for maintain a semblance of respect for the audience. Because so this growth budget, just like the example Mr. Mengot gave, if you don't charge with road tax, you don't charge with vehicle registration, all of which has to do with the roads. Then you charge circulation fee. All right, all that money they come in. Again, if I reflect on the development program, for we say, okay, we see where we say our money to go. All this road tax, vehicle registration, we foresee the potholes should be taken care of. The main roads should be well lit or lighted. But so we're not the end of the day. So overall, in fact, I don't want to break it down in terms of management or growth budget. I just think, with all sincerity and with all due respect, I think the president for all in minister they're more accountable because he has them on his team because he rely on them education, and I don't want to use the word expertise because like Mr. Kagbo just talked to we know say just because you get a degree in economics does not necessarily make you an expert in economics. Now waiting you do specializing in that area that they distinguish or separate you from the rest of the situation. So my overall score, growth, budget, management, and all of that, I think I will leave it at 5%.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, Fambulem, we don't talk about the governments, we don't talk about the economy. Let's talk about the last thing now we want to cover now law and order and the judiciary. And so before we start, let's make them play with video 7, where now one lawyer they talk about how the judiciary they work in a salon. Then we go just assess the waiting that lawyer they say, and then we go score waiting at the challenges they will get now the law and order sector.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you very much, Samuel. I'm here as an expert in human rights, and I also run an organization that has done a lot of work around judicial reforms. Right. So let me give a context to what perhaps Prof was trying to put out here. So I mean, nobody will be correct to say there are no good things that have happened in the judiciary. All right. Of course, there are some things that we can mention, and I'll state a couple of them here, so that at least we give context to the discussion. There is access to justice improvement. Nobody can dispute that. Today we have courts across the nation, which is good, and this government must be saluted for that drive. There are new courts that have been introduced. For example, we have a court on corruption, we have a court on sexual offenses, we have a court on employment issue, national issue. That is making it a great difference. Sexual offenses court also has been introduced. We have separation now between the magistrate courts, and then the superior courts. That has created decency and decorum in the court building. Virtual courts have been introduced. Now you can come and file papers on adoption. You don't need to be here. You can be overseas and you can be interviewed and awards given. Of course, there are a lot of professionals who have been recruited as well, judges and magistrates. So that said, I think what Prof is trying to state here, and I agree with him on this, is that we cannot agree as a nation that we have, a transparent, independent, and impartial judiciary. In fact, it's a farce to say that in any world, all right, to say we have, because we know the political interplays. Now, for example, the biggest challenge, and I've argued this with many times in many platforms, is the administration of justice. When they come before the judiciary, how we deal with the issues. That's where I'm faulting my judiciary to a large extent. We have seen the issues of delayed justice. We have seen the issue of selective justice. We have seen the issue of laying dangerous precedents. And I agree with him. There are, in my analysis the last time I was speaking boldly in your media, there are 4 dangerous precedents that exist in the judiciary as I speak to you, which we have to fight to overturn. Otherwise, it will lay a bad and dangerous precedent on our body politic. Let me list them out for you quickly. The Samsumana case is correct. We cannot support any president who can fire his vice president without reference to parliament. It's a dangerous precedent. It has to be set aside. The judgment against Ansulan Sana, which says if you vie for a parliamentary position, and then there is an issue in the court, and then there is no injunction, but then you are declared the winner, the next person who comes after you that vote will be given to the person. It's a dangerous precedent. We have to do a rerun. Then there's also the precedent on the 10 APs parliamentarians that we are injuncted. You know, we cannot declare a whole parliamentary election void, and then we now give the people that came second the position. No, we have to call for a rerun. That's what the law says. The Supreme Court judgment recently on the PI, what that basically that judgment is saying, it's like NEC can do anything ECSL and go away with it. They said they cannot do a bound limitation, and it was okay by the judges, and now they agreed that we can go to a PI system. When NEC fails to do its responsibility on the Constitution, it's still okay. It's a dangerous precedent they have all laid. That's why I agree with him that we have to fight and come back to the judiciary, because it's the succor of hope. For example, on this application that came before the judge, look at me, there was good sense in why the Supreme Court of America denied Trump access to the courts at the 11th hour when there was need for democrats to be withheld. You think that was not wise? The judge said, we are closing access on you, because we know if we open it, we will destroy our democracy. There is a time when the court will close access on exceptional cases that may have the proclivity to undermine state governance. That was the right time, and I'm happy the judge went back on his decision and reversed it, because the country was on the tense.
Mr. Mengo, do you want me to read a comment?
Yeah, I can read it, because I've changed now.
I don't know whether you've seen it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. It said Mr. Victor Arthur Mengot. He go be Ako Mengot, the post is AKO. The private transport na them plenty na the transport sector or industry. So my question that how you go say entrepreneurship now for day na the transport industry? My dear sir, I beg to differ. How you go talk say private transport na them plenty na the industry? When you talk about transport, you talk about the different. When you combine the keke, the okada, the poda, the taxi, the buses, the lorries, they are more than the private transport. I could tell you that for sure. Almost people are waiting at the rate of car ownership now country. Out of a population of 8 million, I doubt whether you will say up to 200,000 people they own cars. So my brother, I talk from an informed point of view. So having responded to that question, the reason we play this video about the judiciary, okay, somebody they say what one was expecting from the budget was more job creation in various mining sectors and training scheme, which will boost the economy and growth. But in reality, nothing reflects the people's lives. Again, we don't get the analysis. So when they talk about the judiciary, waiting they play that thing there, now for flashback for we people them, because this will be a debate we then do just before we decide with election in 2023. And the same judiciary get a lot of part for play now the election where they come, because there are so many issues them we get for come up where they now the tripartite things to do with challenging his election results. And again, as I don't say, even also issue for deal with people that where you go PPRC, when at the political party regulation commission, if you not get judgment, we satisfy you get for going to the court. Is the court prepared for the answer all the issue? Then there are good things that has happened. Like one of the things we don't happen recently now because we don't begin get appeals courts where they sit in the provinces. But overall, access to justice, we see what happened this year. If we review the judiciary, the case of that one of the judge them inside their own, Justice Alloway, where he challenged the Chief Justice. This na man where they inside, as Kyoki say na John Permine to na John Rest. Up till now, we know you're waiting to happen on that case between that judge there and his superior boss. We also see the recent case with that lady between he and a superior judge as well, where now we already said the lady, they don't can go custody, and the court being said and for do an assessment onto a mental state, but 30 they will not hear nothing about that. So now all in here would they take for look for assess the judiciary, and moreover, we see a lot of people there now where they get boku lawyer the way they graduate, and even within the law fraternity, the people that way hold the judiciary, we see what happen between the law society and the bar association, where the law society go court for stop the bar association for hold an emergency meeting for select somebody in the general legal council. The judge decides say they not file properly. So from my own point of view, all anything and they make, I believe, say access to justice and the operation of judicial system is still get a question mark. Over to you, sir, as this na your area, and now the last topic, you will get the last word before we try to wrap this program up. We're sorry we're not able to go through all the other things, but I think so then 3 areas will go so. Now very good area. I'll read one comment before I pass you to Mr. Shillon. The judiciary, which was one of Sierra Leone's template for West Africa, has become the most corrupt institution in Sierra Leone. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. Yeah, this is an area I would like to talk about extensively, but time being of the essence, not going to give me the permission, and I get to stick with the rules. We started a little bit over 2 hours ago, and it's past the time for us to wrap up. I listened to Mr. Doumbouya, or Lawyer Doumbouya. He talked about some bad precedents. He cited some Sumana case, which I agree. He talked about, but everything kind of muzzle up. I hope we'll get to deal with this. I don't think access to the legal system necessarily, because what would they talk about certain courts, like sex abuse courts, have been established. I'm not sure. Again, I'm being critical. I don't think so in Sierra Leone we need special courts for sexual abuses. I don't think we need special courts for cush violations. I mean, I think on a strict administrative practice or practices, no, special courts are not necessary. Sierra Leone is not overwhelmed with that many cases that it needs additional courts at all. The administrative ideas they need to come up with. Now, because statistically, unless someone is going to convince me that the percentage of sexual abuse for which people are being charged, not to the offense alone, because if somebody sexually abused somebody, but nobody gets arrested, that doesn't count. But now, if the court is so overburdened that in its current stature or status, that it cannot get to sexual abuse cases because there are so many, they are so insurmountable, then I'm willing to go along. If you tell me, if you quote me statistics, say, in the country, we get thousands of pending sexual abuse cases, thousands now, then I'm willing to go along. But let's say if in the Freetown area, on the books, if we only get 200, 300 cases, why do we need special courts for those? I mean, on a proper reconstructive practice, these cases can be dealt with quickly. This is just a matter of teaching the prosecution and the defense attorneys with some regulations how to move cases within the system quickly, and to stop and discourage the practice that lawyers have back home of then consider good lawyering as indefinite continuances or postponement of cases. So when a case, Sierra Leone is not the kind of country where any case of any nature should take more than 2 years in the system once an action is filed. And when we talk about access to the courts or to the judiciary, not to criminal and defense work no more with the talk about even civil aspects, because there are lots and lots of people who will argue that their rights, like the loss of properties, people don't even know where to go. People are still being encouraged to go to the police if somebody encroach on your land. This is not the thing where the police forget anything for do. It's not a criminal matter. But there should be some constructive procedure whereby if somebody encroach on my land, I should be able to bring legal action. There should be efficient, effective way for deal with the matter. That would be access to the courts. So there are many things. So when they talk about there are other things in law, even in the Samsumana case where a lawyer Dumbuya cites. Yeah, but one thing we left out, I think we're not familiar with that concept in Sierra Leone. There is a concept of public policy, because even if you're not in violation of the Constitution, you're not in violation of any established law. There are certain things, just as a matter of public policy, the government should not engage in, should not do. So like what is the Samsumana example for say, the president should not be allowed. Forget the law. As a matter of public policy, if the vice president was elected by the people and the president decides in terms, and there is no violation, of course, like if the vice president become insane, that may be cause for him to be, there should be a process by which you can eliminate him because he lacks the mental fitness for being vice president of the country. But in a situation where in the Kurma and Samsumana saga, where it was a personality thing more so than the law, obviously, public policy should bar the president from being able to get rid of an elected official. So there are a lot of things we can discuss. So, but we're out of time, and I hope these topics until we'll discuss them next year when we start again, because I'm very much interested in this judicial thing, even with the Court of Appeals being moved, part of it being moved up country. This thing should be based on statistics, in terms of the number of practitioners beyond Freetown who have the number of cases that go on appeal and that kind of thing, because Court of Appeals is not the same as trial court, magistrate court or high court. So more high courts, more trial courts, more magistrate courts beyond Freetown might make sense. Court of Appeals may still make sense, but I like to know what the statistical evidence is. With that said, because in most countries, Court of Appeals doesn't move around. You come to the main city or town where the Court of Appeals exists. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong because I don't know what the facts, the considerations are. With that said, I think that's all I would say. We need to thank the audience who have had the patience to listen to we all through the year. We hope we'll continue for listening to we. For those who listen and participate, we hope we're not going to encourage more people, because there are sensational things happening in Sierra Leone that we can get into, but we don't want, not all these things are newsworthy. Some of them are just sensational. So, but they don't get any substance to it. So we'd like to talk about anything with a real issue where they affect people and lives. So we thank you very much. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a very Happy New Year. We look forward to us getting together again by the grace of God. So good night, everyone, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, fumble them until we meet again next year, because we'll take a break now. They say even the fastest sometimes need to take a rest. We'll come back after the New Year, and we hope say Boku thing go happen we will bring to notice. The one day when they go home, wish them safe journey, and be aware of your environment. Things don't change in Freetown, and make sure say you know where they go, know how they travel, and avoid accidents, and let God protect we all. Let's see the New Year and come for continue We'll talk about the Sierra Leone we want and how we for improve the system, because 2026 na shake they happen, because a lot of things get to happen. We get census, we get APC they try for do their own lower level election. We get the SLPP then said they talk about the succession. So it's a very, very good thing for us to keep watch and make sure say we do the right thing and member with people in our salon. So for me, all the best from Sorry until we meet again in 2026. When a very big year for me. I will tell you now when I come back. So good night and tata.